Like I said, what it do? This your boy Alpha D, and the place to be. The place to be is Street Talk Podcast. We on here with your man Chazz Splash. What it do?
What's good, Joe?
Oh man, it's nothing. I'm just up here, just chilling. You know, basically, like I said, you know, we started this podcast. So if, you know, for you, the people, you know, you new up and coming artists, you got something to say. You know, this is the place for you to go ahead and say it. And like I say, the stage is yours. This man right here, phenomenal young man. I sit up here. I had the pleasure to sit up here and listen to his album. Album comes out next month. What's that? February the 10th?
Yeah, February 10th.
February 10th next month. And what you say, basically, are you a conscious rapper? Because that's the feel that I get from what what I'm hearing. It sounds like some old school. Let's go with some old boot camp click OGC. The Smith and Wesson. I get that kind of feel from it.
Yeah, I would definitely say my new album is in that golden era sound, the boom bap sound. That I would definitely say my major influences for this album were like Wu-Tang. Yeah.
So I know you got a matter of fact. Speaking of Wu-Tang, I think that's number 10. Track number 10 that's on the album. Matter of fact, you got a lot of tracks that's on this album. Yeah. You got a lot of tracks that's on this album. Yeah, and I mean, basically, I'm sorry, say it again.
I say, yeah, this joint is 22 songs.
22 songs. So basically, I can listen to your album, ride to DC, and come back to Baltimore. It still got a few more tracks to listen to. So some good riding music.
Yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, exactly. So, like I say, let's go with number 10. Cause like I say, I mean, from the conversation that we had before, that beat is banging. Or that number 10 beat is banging. And
on Protect Black Women?
Yeah, Protecting Black Women, that beat is banging. So who do the production on your album?
The whole album is by me. I did the artwork, I did the production, I'm doing all the songwriting, all the performing, everything was by me on this.
Wait a minute, so you saying you did everything from engineering, you did the beats, production, everything.
Whole 9 yards.
The whole 9 yards. So man, so basically you just multi-talented.
Yeah, man. This album was from the farm to the table.
So you just grew it, put a little seeds up in there, little mustard seeds up in there.
Yeah, most definitely.
And, so now it just grew into Jack the Beanstalk. So now you up here trying, out here now just looking for that golden egg right now.
Yeah, part of the reason I call this project Do More Math is because, in my experience growing up, like with math and stuff, getting better at math, the only way to really do it is like to keep practicing. And I looked at everything that I was doing with this project as just like an execution of practice. So rapping, making beats, mixing and mastering, even the cover artwork. Like I did everything for the project.
Yeah.
So everything was really just an execution of further practice of my craft.
So what was the inspiration? Because like I say, it's a lot of inspiration. You're doing some teaching right now, I'm listening to some things on there, and you talk about 10% nutrients and things like that. You sound like you're a vegan or something like that.
I like veggies for real. I still eat meat though. I still eat burgers or whatever. But I had a lot of different influences for this album. Like my last project I released was in 2018. It was called Enjoy, and that was more so kind of like walking the line between like traditional golden era hip hop and like modern hip hop with like trap beats and stuff like that. But once the stuff happened with George Floyd, I don't know, like my whole mind just kind of shifted, and my thought process on what I wanted to listen to kind of changed. And I wasn't really into just like hearing people kind of talk about anything, and I was kind of tired of just always hearing like the same beat on every song. And at the time, I was just listening to Mad Wu-Tang, and I recognized, like, wow, it's been 30 years since this album came out, and it still sounds good. It still sounds fresh. So I wanted to make something that was real timeless, that explained my point of view in life.
Exactly. And that's what I got from it, because you got a couple of songs on there, like, It Is What It Is.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I mean, I kind of figured out because, like I said, I heard the music and everything. I kind of figured out what the inspiration behind that one. But what's the inspiration behind that one as well? Because that's another one right there. I actually listened to that twice. I listened to it riding over, going to meet up with one of my buddies real fast. And then I sit up there and I'm listening to the car, wait for him to come outside. I say, you know what? Let me go rewind this track real quick because I had to hear what you had to say real fast. But tell me a little bit about that song right there.
Man, it is what it is. It's definitely like, I wanted to go further into that statement. I wanted to go further into that mentality and that emotion that happens when you just say it is what it is. Because you hear about all types of bad stuff happening to people, and just like stuff like the George Floyd thing and any type of situations you hear about black people dealing with police and similar situations. We care about it, and then, eventually people kind of get desensitized, and you just get to a point where you're just like, it is what it is.
Yeah, man, and that's sad, with in our community, because you can sit home, you could be outside, you can hear gunshots and everything, and it's like, oh damn, they shooting again. It's like you just numb to the fact because they've been going on for so long, and that's a great that's a great segue for exactly 400 years. And you said one line inside there. You said something about they talked about 9/11, but we've been going through this for 400 years, and you talking 9/11 every day for us. And what you mean? And what you mean by that?
So that song, I was just like, I had just visited Stone Mountain in Georgia. I went hiking over there, and Stone Mountain is actually the site where the KKK was refounded.
Yeah, exactly.
And that just resonated with me because I was just like, just thinking about different stuff that I see going on all the time, and I was like, the same way people act so appalled about 9/11, it's like black people and Native Americans have been going through 9/11 every day for 400 years.
Exactly. I mean, it's sad to say, you come from our community, you've been dealt with police brutality. This on the norm. You're just an average guy walking back and forth to work, going to school, anything like that. And, because of they see us inside the community because they're not actually a part of the community, they look at us as a threat. They only look at us as what they see on television. And It's like, me, all right, first time I ever went to Mexico, I seen an iguana. I had never in my life been around an iguana before, and I ain't even gonna lie. We got big ass rats here in Baltimore. I done been chased by dogs and everything, but a iguana about this big, whatever, ain't that big at all. And it scared me because what I saw on television, we're like, okay, all right, this is a new creature. I've never seen this before. But like saying the same thing, like with them, not saying defending anything that anybody does, but I'm just saying that's just like you don't know what it is. You just dealt with if we've been betrayed as creatures on television. You're going to get treated accordingly. So I understand.
Yeah.
So basically, that right there in a nutshell is exactly, I think that's on how people, they get misconstrued. And when they say, police officers, they only doing not what they train, but they doing what a lot of times what they're saying on television. Because I had one of my best friends, anniversary just passed, Officer William Torbett. Was a police officer, great guy. Grew up with him as as we was kids, 14 years old, and he was murdered as a police officer by his own kind. So basically, it was a situation where as though they didn't know who he was, and so I mean, Lord forbid, things, uncertainty things happen or whatever. But the same thing, that's what happened with him. But let's not, get too far away from this, subject. You're here today. We want to talk about you and what's going on. So what's on your mind? Tell the people out here, let them know who are you. What do what do you bring to the table? Because right now, you got a lot of rappers that's out here, and that's from the city, that's from Baltimore, that's that's making a little bit of noise out there. So what sets you aside from everybody else that's out there? Rapping, coming from Baltimore, because I can say right now, it seems like, the guys out here in Baltimore, they, it seems like a lot of, you got like one style, and, it sounds different, but like I said, you got that old school flow, and that right there, to me, that sets you aside. But to you, from, your perspective, what sets you aside from everybody else?
Well, I go by Chazz Plash. I just tell the truth. Like, I just keep it real with who I am. I grew up in Emerson Village, and I had the privilege of being able to move out eventually and go get an education out in the county, and I took advantage of that. So when I was out there, I started getting into like AP classes and stuff like that. So I wasn't about to, and I seen, the streets from my window, from my doorstep. I wasn't about to go tell lies and act like I was in the midst of the streets doing all the hustling and this, that, and the other, although I witnessed it go down with my friends and family. My thing was just like, how do I artistically express myself and be true to who I am? So I just talk about what I went through. I experienced the streets tangentially, and I am a college graduate, a young black man in America with perspectives, ideas, opinions, and feelings that need representation. When I was growing up, I didn't hear a lot of rappers push into the mainstream that represented my perspective. Like I wanted to hear about people who were from the hood but didn't necessarily do the same old to just resorting to selling drugs. So I just want to be a light of positivity and positive influence to people who, you might be in Emerson Village or Park Heights or any hood in America, but you want to find a different option other than just getting on the corner.
Yeah, exactly. Like I say, me, myself, bred 29, Emerson Village, all my life. I've been around the whole city, everywhere, and I didn't see, from witnessing a lot of crime and things like that, which, witnesses a lot of my family members going in and out of jail, things like that. I always seen, like, I want to do something different for myself. So for me, I moved back in my neighborhood. I've been up in Emerson Village. I would say, I don't even want to age myself, but I've been up there for a long time, over 40 years. So I done seen the ups, the downs, and everything. And this is one of the reasons why I started this, because I done came across a lot of young guys in this neighborhood that's actually not even just in Emerson Village, in Baltimore, Irvington, wherever 29, stretched to. And I came up and I met a lot of people, and nobody really have a platform on speaking or getting that word out there and things like that. So I say, let me go ahead and develop something where as though I can help my fellow brethren and my sisters go ahead and, speak their mind and help them, give them a platform on whatever they're doing, no matter what it is. If it's the, entrepreneur, if you're, if you want, a community activist and things like that, this is the platform for you. So like I say, that's why I call the streets talk, because the streets do talk. And, I got my ear to it, I want to listen, and I want to go help them speak. And with you, and I feel, I sit there, and especially reading your bio, and reading things on there that I never found, never heard before. And then another thing on your song, you said that basically about your dreams, and you want to pursue your dreams. And your dream is being an artist, being a rapper, producer, everything, all everything that, in the entertainment field. And you said that you stopped going to college. And not stopped going to college. You stopped working. You had a real good job. You was actually building community wealth. Not actually community wealth, but you was actually building them. Engineering, building buildings. That's going to last for lifetimes and things like that. So you seen the ins and out of blue collar, white collar. So right now you want to be in the entertainment collar. So what made you stop from leaving a great career? Because you got a lot of people in the hood and things like that looked at you probably like, man, I want to be where he is. He got a great job and everything. But then you say, I want to pursue my career in entertainment. So, why did you choose to go from one route to another route? Because there's a lot of people out here now that is working jobs that's saying, man, I don't want to be this job, but I want to be a singer, or I want to be a doctor, a lawyer, but this job right now is paying my bills. So what gave you that opportunity to take that leap of faith?
Well, I started off with the foundation of having that degree, so I would always have something to fall back on with that engineering career. But, I never looked at my career shift as being geared towards entertainment, per se, as much as I'm gearing towards art. I remember when I was in first grade and they asked, what you want to do when you grow up? I always said I want to be an artist. And I always originally envisioned that as me doing visual arts. And that's really where my foundation is. And, I would be at work and I would just be thinking about the art I'm going to create when I get home. I'll be thinking about that all day, and sometimes that would distract me at work. Sometimes I make a new song and be listening to it all day. And I was just going through things at work where I was just like, man, I don't know if I really want to go through this for 30 years. I don't know if I could really see myself sitting down and putting myself through this for 30 years and feel like I did the most with my opportunity. So I just took my fate into my own hands, and I said I'm going to leap out and become an entrepreneur and do things on my own and live my creed. So my thought process was, hey, you know, I'm not even 30 yet. I got time. So I'm going to take this chance, and I'd rather be older and be like, yo, I took an L by taking this chance, than be older and say, I took an L by never taking the chance.
Exactly.
And I feel like with great risk comes great reward. So my thought process is really focused on getting W's. I look at this as I'm just chasing the W, and I'm looking to win. You got people like True Fans who, you know, got to the music industry younger, but really broke through mid-30s. So I do know that for some people it's a little longer of a process than others, but my whole thought process is just making a long-lasting career in something that I'm proud of and creating a legacy that I can pass down to future generations, whether it be my children or people that I impact.
Exactly. And you know what's so crazy? That brings me to thinking about a story that I had. You know, it came to a time in my life where, as though, you know, when I've had my daughter, I'm going to school. I say, all right. Ever since I was a kid, I said, you know, I want to be an electrical engineer or somewhere in that field, construction, things like that. Done things like that for a while. So I got a job opportunity out of nowhere. Somebody gave me a piece of paper, signed up for it or whatever, out of nowhere. A couple of months later, I'm on my way going to a job interview. So what's so funny is, and I'm on a bus going to the job interview and everything, and my phone ring. I'm looking at my phone. I'm like, I don't know who this is. This is out of state number. I don't know this number. So bam, I'm thinking this is like a telemarketer or something like that. Didn't answer the phone. Hit it again. Call right back. This must be somebody that know me something. At this time, everybody had those Obama phones. So I'm thinking somebody probably had one of those Obama phones or something like that calling me. So I answer the phone. Hey, such and such. Hey, how you doing? I'm calling from such and such. Mr. Malone. I want to offer you a job. Offer me a job? Yeah? Yeah, such, you want to come in, whatever, come in, do the interview, whatever, get your job or whatever. Ding, next stop. I'm going to a job interview to be a radio host on an internet a radio show that was just starting up. Basically, it was, it was internship, start out on a radio show or whatever. And I'm like, that's something I probably wanted to do or whatever. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Rung the bell. I say, you know what? I'm going with this. They talk about some good money. Good. I ain't got to do nothing. Good benefits and everything. So fast forward, make a long story short. Look what I'm doing now. Look where I'm at right now. Things right now with the quarantine and everything. A lot of people can't do no working and everything. Bless this thing. Still got a job and everything. But now this showed us that we got to start doing other things. We got to have entrepreneurships. We got to start. If we start, we want to sing, we want to act, we want to sew, we want to sell cakes, cookies, anything. They're showing us right now. This is the opportunity. This way, as though we got to step on up, because what's going on right now inside the government and everything else right now. If we not like Malcolm X said, this is the time we got to strategize. We got to come together with a plan, because they out there fighting. So while they fighting, we got to be planning and strategizing. And I see right now with the song as the mindset elevates. Tell me a little bit about that song.
I mean, that song is just like really representing just where my mindset was at and how I felt. I actually can play it right now if you want.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, let's get as the mindset evolves jumping. Can you hear it?
Yep.
As the mindset evolves, the seasons start to change. As the mindset evolves, and seasons start to change. As the mindset evolves, and seasons start to change. The attention is the car. I'm staying in my lane. As the mindset evolves, as the mindset evolves, as the mindset evolves, Intention is the car, I'm just staying in my lane. Learn not to move side to side, weaving through traffic. Drop decisions like it's over judgment and tragic. Staying in my lane, the outcome is understanding. Going where I'm planning, straight line gathering. Niggas playing hopscotch in transit, they gambling. Why you telling lies in your raps, bro? You rambling. Shifty in the pocket, see I'm QB scrambling. Number 8 in the open field, can you handle it? My accomplishments have never been to my astonishment. When I set a goal, my intention is to conquer it. Go guard and then go hard while I'm expanding it. Start up a fire and then I'm fanning it. Enjoying it fresh and then canning it. Baking food with cannabis. Measurements is accurate, the product extravagant. Middle fingers up to politicians trying to banish us. And kudos to the black folk who infiltrate the government. As the mindset evolves and seasons start to change, as the mindset evolves and seasons start to change, as the mindset evolves and seasons start to change. The intention is the car. I'm staying in my lane as the mindset evolves. As the mindset evolves. As the mindset evolves. That's a cool little sample of that song.
Yeah, exactly. I like that one because it's a little mellow. It's a little like laid back. You know, if you do what you want to do, you know with your little not. With your WBs, I don't want to say white boys, but if you're a little white boy, roll back, you got your little cognac sipping and everything like that, that's what that's what you vibe to, something right there. But one thing, like I always talk about, what's that, the song with, what's that, number 10? Can you play that for us, if you want.
Of perspective in this grand lecture. A lot of thoughts we have today are based from eugenics. Go look it up. They read the black women give birth different. Trying system broken like a clock, their hands don't move. The doctors do the same thing that they learn in med school. Damn, taught black people endure more pain. Is it because of what's inside us or because they won't change? Same paper bag test, rates, cash-based game. That combined with patriarchy place a block in the lane. Wow, mixing native violence for an easier win. For real, talking to the young women resent all men. I still love you good even if I ain't ballin'. For real, African, it don't mean a damn when I'm spinning. Fly don't make you believe and breathe. Love leaves birth down, then ignore you when you really hurt. For real, that black women of the half, mothers of my children, the teachers of care, another village black, check black. It's up to you, so what is black, systems black, the people, mothers and the sisters black, check black. Of the half, mothers of my children black, teachers of care, another village black, check black. It's us against the world is black, sisters black, the people, mothers and the sisters. I'm gonna be honest. That's one of my favorite songs in the project.
Yeah, I love that one, and the one with the woo beat. The one I say it got me like a old school, like a little old school woo beat. I think it wasn't Black Business Owner. I think it might was credit over. No, it was Do the Math. I love that one. It was Do the Math. I can sit up here and I can listen to this on the way to work, coming home from work. And just sitting there vibing. It's not like one of them albums where it's though, all right, I hear this on the radio all the time. All right, I hear this. Like, damn, there's nothing else on here. So it's like you have some picks. Like I say, it's 22 on there, 22 cuts on there. Usually, like right now, everybody putting out EPs. Everybody doing that 7 songs here and things like that. To put out this basically like a double. This is a double album right here. You giving the people a lot of music. And
my whole approach to the creation of this was I wanted to make something that was timeless. I wanted to make something that could be qualified as a classic. I want this to be a project that, like I said on one of the songs that, I was listening to Tears by Wu-Tang, and that's 30 years old, and I just pray that my music has some of that same longevity. I want people, in 2050 to hear what I'm talking about and be like, wow, he was really on to something. I would love if 20, 25 years from now, I'm listening to the radio and a song that's number 1 in the country is sampling some of my lyrics or some of my beats, I mean, of course, I want to get some revenue. As far as just the influence standpoint, that's something that I really, would love to have as an artist.
Exactly. And and you know, basically with that saying with the black business owner, and that's what we need more right now because we don't have a lot of black business owners right now. And the neighborhood I'm in right now, and Mr. Jesse is the only black store owner that's in Emerson Village right now that won't let go. He won't let go of that store for nothing. To own the bus stop, and my favorite, one of my favorite spots growing up as a kid was the barbershop up at Emerson Village. That barbershop right there, I've been in there. Like my mother will call up there and say, "Hey, look here, Shelton. Alfie on his way up there to go get a haircut." I'm like 5-6 years old. I'm cut through the back of the shopping center like I'm grown. Gonna get me a haircut. He's coming up there. Make sure you watch him. You know, give a haircut. Give him the little even Steven. Go ahead and whatever. And if you say give him a part, don't give him no part. I'm 40 years old now. I got a part in my head. I'm getting me a part. I got a part in my head.
I love that barbershop.
Yeah, and they closed down.
Yeah, they did. I heard that they closed at the top of the year. My grandfather told me, but I had a lot of good memories in that barbershop, man. I remember one day, because like when I was like 12, it was like every other week I'm going up there to go get a haircut, and I just had like a routine. I go in there and I get my place in line, then I step out, I go to Rite Aid next door to go get like a Gatorade and some chips, and go up the street to Lake Trout, because you know, everybody got their own place of the village that got their favorite.
Yeah, don't start me.
Yeah, box of the village was up Lake Trout, so I would go up Lake Trout and get my shit.
Me, I was a Brian's Kitchen fan. Everybody going roll curry out. I was a Brian's Kitchen fan. The chicken, the Western fries up there to me was the best.
Okay.
See, roll curry out, when I came up, they didn't curry Western fries. All they had was the regular fries. They was the original people to me that came up with the chicken box is actually in the white box, $3.15. Because if you listen to this, don't pay no attention. But we cut out of school at Rodno Heights in elementary school, rolling Diosis. You had me cutting out of school to go get a chicken box. All of us spent out $3.15. We put together, got a chicken box. It was the best thing I ever had in my life. Yeah, and they were the best ones. But roll curry, but Brian's Kitchen, I don't know what they was putting in. I think they was putting crack in there or something. Because there was like some old Tyrone's hip hop with a little. It couldn't. It definitely couldn't have. It couldn't have been no Chick-fil-A, because Chick-fil-A, you know, it is a Christian spot, so they ain't gonna have no crack in that stuff. Then again, I don't know. Yeah.
Hip hop, and you say, "Yo, I want extra crack."
Yeah.
You know what you talking about.
I'm gonna find out. You know what? That's a podcast episode, y'all. I'm going over there. I'm trying to say what's in secret sauce. I know they ain't got no dogs there, so it ain't that baked bean commercial. But I know they ain't got no dogs there. We gonna go over there. We gonna find out what's inside the ingredients, because I know they got some crack inside of it. It's something inside there. Or it's like that movie that came on TV when the dudes dropped the weed inside the batter. You know what movie I'm talking about?
Nah, but look, I be doing that. I make the edibles myself, so I know all about dropping the weed.
They putting something inside there. I seen the movie. I think T.I. was in there or something, and somebody knocked over some weed by mistake. The next thing you know, they had lines all the way around the corner to get that chicken. So that had me believing that Popeyes and it was doing the same thing.
Hip-hop chicken doing something, man. I feel like they just popped up out of nowhere in like 2008, and they just took Baltimore over.
They putting something in there that we like. I don't know if it's the red Kool-Aid inside the batter. They putting something inside there. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that chicken is great.
Exactly.
And Lake Trout burnt down, man, when the village caught fire like 2 years ago.
Yeah, man, they got pretty much everything up there right now. I say about 4 or 5 stores was gone, and then you had some. I think that was the bank. The bank, you know, took up a couple of spots or whatever, so that's gone. So the shopping center that I remember that I grew up with, carrying bags from people going to the car, that was our hustle. We carrying bags, we selling pieces, we selling everything up there in the shop, so that's how we made our money. You know, we hollered at girls up there, everything, but like right now, it's nothing. So that's why I want to help bring something back there to this neighborhood, because there is nothing up there right now but chicken and hair stores. Chicken and hair stores.
And it ain't black owned. None of it's black owned, man.
And there's one guy that pretty much own everything. How you gonna be one person, you own 2 different hair stores, And you come on now, so it's like
Right.
so you changing the colors of the vowels. What are you doing? Wait a minute, hold up 1 second. For the people that's out there listening, that don't know what they're saying. Changing colors of the vowels are when you have the same kind of product and you want to move it from one corner to another corner. So you put different colors on there and you call it a different name. That's something that comes from the inner city of from the hood, from any city that you live in. I'm not going to say what's inside of those things, but there's things inside there, and allegedly you say. Yeah, watch The Wire and you'll see what we're talking about. Shout out to The Wire because they put Baltimore on the map. At my job, every time people came through there, they kept on saying, "Is Baltimore's like how The Wire is? Is this?"
That's what they used to ask me in Seattle too. I got asked that a lot in Seattle. And I was like, it's similar. I mean, it's not one for one. The Wire is kind of dramatic, but there are similar things that happen in Baltimore.
Exactly. Like I say, I mean, it's just a regular movie like Law and Order, say, just been pulled from screen. It's the same thing, but they just fabricated a little bit to make it more interesting for everybody else to watch. That's right. All it is. But it did a lot of things on there betray how the city is, on like our mentality here in Baltimore and the things that we do.
Like when they was talking about, when they had the people from over west who was talking about how they never went over east. That was so I never went over east until I started college, yo. Because I went to Morgan.
Oh man,
Morgan over east. I hadn't been over east until I went to college. I felt like I was in another state and I was 15 minutes away.
Exactly. So y'all people out there that's listening, people in Baltimore, if you live over West Baltimore, you don't go over East Baltimore. For some apparent reason, people don't do it. You over East Baltimore, you don't go west. It's a whole nother city, but it's only 5 minutes away. It's only one street, pretty much, to divide Baltimore from east to west. And we had a beef about it. If it's Charles Street,
exact same city, but two different total cultures.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like, when people try to say that, when people try to say Baltimore is a DMV, I'm like, no, our culture is totally different from them. But
exactly.
Even within Baltimore, over west and over east got total different cultures. Different.
And my man, my man on Facebook always put these quotes up there about East Baltimore people do this and East Baltimore people do this or whatever. It's so funny because me growing up we always had this stigma saying about East Baltimore this, East Baltimore that. And like they say the same thing about us. Like I look at it like this, and people like on the national or people in New York look at it like this. I look at it as like East Baltimore is Brooklyn, West Baltimore is Harlem. We kind of like more finesse, more like flashy, getting a little bit of money over here, but we like to show off. East Baltimore is like a little grimy, but you got a few people I might probably get a lot of hate mail out here for this or whatever. But you got people that want to be this a little fresh and all of that, but it's like they more grimier. But then you ask somebody over East Baltimore, they say, man, them dudes over West Baltimore, they grimy, I don't trust them, and they rats and all that kind of stuff. But we don't look at it like that because we feel differently about it's like you got to be from Baltimore to understand what we're saying about East to West. And South Baltimore is something like totally whole different. That's a whole nother world by itself.
South Baltimore is like the red-headed stepchild. Don't nobody want to claim them. Don't nobody want to go there. Like it's just like, what is that?
I mean, and shout out to my South Baltimore because I grew up in South Baltimore. I was raised in South Baltimore for the most part. I got a lot of family in Cherry Hill, Brooklyn area. Shout out to Brooklyn. With 10th Street for homeboys or whatever, Cherry Hill and all of that. I grew up out there, so I lived out there for a few years, so I understand. I always can't say it is like, don't let nothing happen to me out Cherry Hill because the police had never show up. Sorry, but this is back in the early 2000s or whatever. It was different because I'd have seen some things out there. It was like, that's just a whole nother world by itself or whatever. That's just, it's something different, whatever.
Baltimore is its own unique
Exactly.
world. It's like,
you got to be there to understand.
Dundalk, like,
you know what? I think that's what KRS West was. I think that's what OPP was talking about when they said, if you ain't never been to the ghetto, don't never come to the ghetto because you wouldn't understand the ghetto. And that's basically what Cherry Hill is. If you ain't never been to Cherry Hill, if you ain't live in Cherry Hill, don't never come to Cherry Hill because you don't understand Cherry Hill. So stay the fuck out of Cherry Hill.
You're not from Cherry Hill, there's no reason to be there.
Man,
not one single reason.
But it's some of the funnest times I had in my life out there. So I mean,
some good friends from Cherry Hill.
Yeah, it's some of my funnest times I had out there. Shout out there, out there to the Taylor family. We out there real thick out there and everything. So I love me some Cherry Hill. But let's get back into this album, though. We don't want to get too far from there. And so what makes you start writing, start making beats? Because you don't get a lot of artists that goes from rapping to making beats. You get a lot of people, a lot of DJs that want to be rappers, but you don't get a lot of rappers say, you know what, I want to start learning how to DJ and things like that. So what made you start, rapping, or was you a beat maker? Or did you start making beats first and then started rapping?
Well, I really started off as a visual artist, like drawing pictures and drawing comic books and stuff. And back in like 2012, I was just freestyling with some of my friends. We just had a cipher, and what I was saying was resonating with them. They was liking, and they was like, "Yo, you should really tap in and start writing." So I just started writing and getting with producers to make songs and stuff. And when I released my last project in 2018, I spent mad money on beats. Like, I had a beat on there that I dropped like $600 on to have it exclusive. And when I uploaded the music video and stuff to YouTube, it was saying all this stuff about how the song belonged to somebody else. And I was like, what the heck? Because people do like beat leases and stuff.
Yeah.
And I just didn't want to go through that anymore. And I wanted to make sure that I could make sure my whole project had a cohesive sound. So I was just like, I'm just going to learn how to make beats. And, it's a lot cheaper too. So it was just like so many positives.
Yeah.
So, but the only thing about it was, the only thing that was expensive was the time investment. I had to invest a lot of time to get my beat production right. It's like, them beats that I made in the beginning, even beats that I was making like in October of 2019, did not sound like what I'm making today. And that's just from experience. I kind of treat it like a video game. Like, if you get a video game like 2K or something and you put it on the hardest difficulty and you never played before, you're going to be getting jacked up for a while. But if you keep playing it every day, eventually you learn different nuances, you learn different things to get better at, and then eventually you become good. So that was just my approach to making beats. So I just kind of embodied that quote that Kanye had said about making 5 beats a day for 3 summers. Between October 2019 and December of 2020, I had multiple weeks where I was making 12, 13, 14, 15 beats a day. I made over 400 beats over that year span, just working to get better, studying all the time, just working to get better, to just get my sound right, just so I could, carve a lane for myself.
Yep, that's personal growth. That's personal growth right there, because you can't, like I tell my daughter all the time, she like to play basketball. She play ball and everything. So, and she don't like practice. Yeah, practice. We talking about practice. Yep, we talking about practice. And she don't like it. So I keep trying to tell you, you cannot, like Steph Curry is not going to go out there and just we don't see too much talent where as though you can just come off the bench and just start shooting balls and you making threes and you just hot out there all day long. You're not going to see that all day long. You got to practice. Practice makes perfect. And that's the only way you got to do. So like you say, you seeing from your growth from 2018, you making your beats until like now, you feels like that, you never stop learning. But you feel like right now that you like, damn, I'm better than I was 2-3 years ago than I am right now. I could probably in 5 years, I'll probably be great. So like,
years ago, 2015, 2016, 2017, I didn't know how to actually put in all the maneuvers myself to make beats and stuff. But because I used to play instruments growing up, I kind of knew somewhat how to arrange stuff. So I would just tell producers like, hey, yo, chop that up like this, or put that drum there, or I don't like the sound of that kick, use a different kick. I would tell them stuff like that. But, once I locked in and focused on doing that myself, I developed a whole greater skill set. And in addition to that, learning mixing and mastering, which is something I've really been studying since 2015. If you study mixing and mastering enough, that's going to teach you how to produce damn near. So studying both of them together really helped me. And, the combination of that and being an artist, I feel like that really accelerated my growth. And then having that background of that engineering degree, that really helped me have a leg up, because the biggest takeaway from that degree was learning how to study and learning how to teach myself something fast. Because when I was in school and they telling me like, yo, you got to understand how to analyze a bridge, I'm like, what? So, you know, over a couple of weeks, I'd have to teach myself the subject. So, you know, with the music, I just keep treated the same way.
And that's amazing, because that's just cutting out the middleman. Why not? If you want to, if you, and that's a lesson learned right there for everyone else that's out there that's listening. When you go out here online buying these beats, there's a lot of people out there hungry. It's just like being on the streets. You got people out here that's out here on the streets, out here that's doing the same thing, that's grimy, that's just trying to make a quick buck. So you go out here, you go spend your money on these beats, and you thinking like, oh man, this song right here, I've been working on this for the longest time. I think this is a song I'm gonna make it on. And then you come to find out for the license, you can't publish the video or the song or anything because someone else then sold the song to someone else. So that's a great lesson right there to let you know, you guys out there to know. It's out there, people. It's people grimy in the industry right now. So don't think because you made it from you left the streets or whatever, and you're going to go out here and you want to be an artist and everything, that there's not people out here that's going to try to, that's not going to try to take advantage of you. Just go back and look at all the old shows on a lot of people, a lot of kid stars that they've been taken advantage of, a lot of music industry people, big name people that they didn't start making money until 10, 15 years later. To one person, to like my favorite artist of all times, and not just saying like a lady artist, but one of my favorite artists. And when I first heard her on the radio as a kid, it like blew my mind. Which was Roxanne Shante, and as you can see, she got taken advantage of. So, and she tell you every single day. And I mean, that's why I love her, because she tell you every single day, and that's what we here for, because we here to let people know. We trying to, anything that's educational, that's going to help our people, that you ain't going to get the information if you watch all these other shows and things like that on television. They ain't going to tell you the ins and outs and everything. Like we, basically like this, we coming from nothing, but we trying to make something. So we trying to get back the jewels and letting everybody know on the way, look here, this is what I came across. This is what they're going to do. This is what they're trying to do to me and things like that. So that's a good thing for us to have this, this platform like this for everybody else to go and see things like this, because I don't want to see no one else being, what's his name, Arnold from Different Strokes, and your family taking advantage of them, or you going to or like another TLC, things like that, people getting taken advantage of. That's why you got to be book smart. Not saying, that you got to go to school and go to college and, that's, all good and everything, but you got to have to read. That's where everything is inside the books. You have to read.
You gotta study. It don't matter if you go to school or not, but if you not actively looking to learn things about whatever you're doing, whatever field you're in, you playing yourself. You gotta learn, because whatever you're not learning, there's somebody who you're competing with who is learning. And they're gonna put you in a compromising position in the future. Exactly.
It's always someone that's working a little harder than you. And that goes back, like I heard this saying that where as though it's a lion every single day. Wake up looking to go catch a gazelle. And it's a gazelle every day that's looking to outrun a lion. So this gazelle trying to be the fastest gazelle that is out there in the world. And this lion out there looking for gazelles. He's trying to be the fastest gazelle out there in the world. Fastest lion out there in the world. So what he got to do? This gazelle got to outrun this lion every single day. So make a long story short is, there's someone out there that's always working just as hard as you, if not as hard as you, even harder, to try to catch you or pass you or try to eat you on the way going up. So that's what you have to do. You got to work harder. You got to work on your craft. You got to work on your craft. If you don't work on your craft, you can't be that arrogant and say that, look, I'm just a man. You can't have that diva mentality.
Yeah, and that kind of leads back to one of the questions you asked before about, like, why did I choose this career path? And really, I just thought about what's something that I want to spend thousands and thousands of hours of my life doing.
Exactly.
And I'd like to spend thousands and thousands of hours of my life making music and making art. That's what I'm into, selling art. Like, I made this hat, I made this shirt. I'm into creating things. That's just the type of person I've always been. Whether it be me creating buildings or creating art, creating art of any sort. You know, I'm just that type of person. I'm into creation.
Exactly, and that's a good thing. That's exactly why I think they came out with Legos. Because Legos, every kid should have Legos. If you don't have Lego, if you didn't never brought your kids some Legos, buy your kids some Legos and some Play-Doh. Because you create, and you can sit there in front of some Play-Doh and you be there for 30 hours and you only probably came out with an ugly, ugly ashtray. But you sit there, you took your time out and you thought about what you wanted to do and you try to perfect it. Because I hated arts and crafts when I went to school. The best thing about arts and crafts when I went to school was because I wasn't learning enough and I could sit up there and sit anywhere in class I want, by anybody I want, and have fun. But to sit there and learn about arts and crafts, to like the mind and your hands going with each other, like to put something together, it's like to seeing something from nothing, from a piece of paper, from a piece of clay, and molding it into something that's going to basically be there forever. It's basically amazing to see something from the bottom to the finishing touches. It's like it's amazing.
Yeah, man, and I definitely appreciate you, you know, having me on your platform to, you know, talk some game and really talk about this project all together because, you know, February 10th, Do More Math, basically a double album, 22 songs, bringing back that golden era feel, man. Really about to, I think this album is really going to do some things. I think it's going to change the way people look at me. I think it's going to change the way people look at my art, and I think it's going to shine a positive light on myself and Baltimore.
Yeah, I believe so too. Like I say, it's a lot of cuts on here. You're doing a lot of educational speaking. You basically took that platform and say, look, you know what? I'm here. I might as well go and speak some truth. I'm not going to sit up here and tell people some lies and all this fictional things like that. I'm going to put the truth out there, and I'm not even going to lie. Like, I feel so. I'm a hip hop head. I love hip hop. Lyrics is what I love. You can have an acapella album out, long as it got some lyrics and some content on there. I'm in it. So I get this some thumbs up. Honestly, I got to get you into the studio. You got to perform. We got to bring you to the studio and perform. So before we get up out of here, why don't you go and give everybody your information, where they can find you, about the album, everything, all of that, you know, your information, and, you know, everything.
Well, I'm Chazz Splash on everything. CHAZZ Splash. If you type that in on Google, you're going to find me. You type it in on whatever you listen to music to, more than likely you're going to find me. The album drops February 10th. I'll be selling it on my website. I'll be selling it on Bandcamp. And we will have it on streaming services too. The album is called Do More Math. And I just want to end this interview by shouting out Alfie for this great time on this podcast.
Appreciate
shouting out my Uncle Rock. He helped put this together. Free Rock.
Yep. Shout out to my man Rock. We love you, man. Shout out to you. We're going to see you here shortly. Chazz Splash, my man. I appreciate everything stepping up on here, coming up on Streets Talk Podcast. Appreciate everything. This is a platform for you for any time you want to come through. This is home for you. So welcome to the streets. Holla at you. Peace.